I have that one set up so that I can look at the county one, so I can be on track.
Okay, we are live. So Melinda, did you have your meetings this morning?
Yes.
And did you make it to all of them?
Yep. Yep.
Good. We'll start at 1.
So,
Any grandkids today?
nope, not today.
No? That's kind of rare for you.
I'm going to see one this afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Never a day goes by.
That's what I thought, yeah. Well, Michelle had a little conflict this morning or this afternoon, but Jen is here taking minutes, Melinda. And
Okay.
she's waving hi to
Hi,
you.
Michelle.
And we see your ceiling fan. I don't know if you want that on purpose or that's the way your camera is. We can't see you though.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm here though.
Okay. And you can see John Gallagher?
I do not see John. Is John on? Let me go to gallery.
Yeah, it's just John and you on.
All right.
And Rick and Ty are here.
Okay, I see John now. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, well, since we don't have a chair and Melinda's not here, let me just start the meeting. And we'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, Jen?
Commissioner Robbins?
Here.
Commissioner Wessel?
Here.
Commissioner Lautner?
Present.
All present.
Okay, and just to be in compliance with the new Open Meetings Act, if you zoom in, you have to say which village or county you're zooming in from. So Melinda, I assume you're in Solon Township?
Yes, that's correct.
We have to put that in the minutes now, Jen.
Okay, good.
All right, thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. Rick, as our new member, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Will start us, Rick?
Pledge allegiance to
I pledge allegiance.
Of the United States of America and to the republic and
For what stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
not our best.
Well, it's a little tough to pledge allegiance with Zoom here. You never quite know. Okay, is there any changes to the agenda? Okay. Public comment, is there? If there is anyone who'd like to public comment, it's 231-256-8109. Once again, people for public comment can call in at 231-256-8109. Okay, if someone does call, we'll accept that, but we'll move on. Election of officers. This is our first meeting of the year. So the three of you have the right to elect an officer. Mr. Wessel.
I nominate Commissioner Lautner as chair.
There's a second?
Second.
And there's a second. Melinda, would you accept that nomination?
certainly. Thank you.
All right. All those in favor of Melinda being the chair, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's 3-0. Congratulations, Chairman Lautner.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, well then let's move on. Of course, the purpose of the meeting today is law enforcement center bond options. So
thank you, Melinda. And we have John on the phone, on the line also. We just want to give you an update. We have some options for the first time in many years with our law enforcement bond. My background, and John can help me out here, and maybe Jen can too, because Jen was here originally when the county decided to build the law enforcement center, as well as this building. They looked at different financial options. And the short story is, for this building, they used its reserve cash and paid for it. So there are no debts for this building. From next door, from a cash flow perspective, they went forward with the bond. And that bond was refinanced 10 years ago. It could not be refinanced for the first 10 years. And it was in 2012. The bond expires in 2027. So we have several years to go. However, in 2021, we have the option of either refinancing it, paying off, making extra payments, whatever we choose. So that's the purpose of this meeting. We just want to get your thoughts on how to go forward. So one option is simply keep paying as we have been. And I think all of you were emailed you a copy of the bond payments here. For 2021, it's a 4% interest rate, and our total payments with interest and principal is $453,450. And for the next couple of years, it goes up. Next year, I'll just round these off, 460,000, drops then to 438, it's up to 471, 473, 475, and 451. So this is the first year we have options. Before, we cannot adjust the bonds for the 10 years. So one option is we just continue to pay as, yes.
Thank you. I have a question before we go any further, because you did a little cap on the history of the jail, and we did bond the jail first to leave all our cash reserves to build the courthouse years later. You're correct, but didn't Treasurer Roush what did she do with our jail bonds a few years back?
She refinanced them. She refinanced them on March 6, 2012. So it was a 15-year refinancing. For the first 10 years, we had no flexibility. So that's why it expires this year. And we do have flexibility this year for the first time.
Okay, but she was able to do it. That's why this starts in 12. That was my next question. So this starts in 12.
Yeah, because that was a refinancing of the bond. I believe the original bonds must have been issued. Jen, do you remember? It must have been in the mid 2000s, right, when the jail was built.
The construction started. I was hired here in 2005, and construction was already finished, and we were capitalizing. So I would think 2002 or 2003 would have.
I'm guessing it was a 2002 bond because it would have been 10 years.
Yep.
Could refinance in 10 years, so 2012. Yep. So that's probably. Does that sound about right to Melinda? 2002?
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because that would make it a 25-year bond, which will expire in 2027. So yeah, it must have been a 25-year bond. So currently, our interest rate is at 4%. So we have several options. And actually, I've been working with John because in my previous jobs, I've actually done bond refinancing 3 different times. Once at Northwestern College, at Buckley Schools, and at Charlevoix Public Schools. But one option is we simply do nothing, which is fine, and we just pay off the bonds as is scheduled on this bond repayment. The other option is we don't refinance. We can actually pay more if we want from our funds, either general or reserve or however you choose, and pay it off quicker. Option 3 is we refinance the bonds. And John and I talked to a bond consultant, just in general terms. The interest rates are pretty good for us now. We could get a much lower rate. And that would mean we could save approximately, he's guessing, obviously we don't know until it happens, about a total of about $25,000 to $30,000 per year. If we did that, if we refinance, then we could either lower the payments on an annual basis, continue to 2027, or just pay the same amount, but pay the bonds off sooner. So just in a brief nutshell, those are our options. And I just want to have a general discussion with the 3 of you, and then have a full discussion with the board next week or in 2 weeks. If we choose to refinance, the amount of this bond is not even one drop in a big bond market. So it's a very small amount. And there's 2 ways when you refinance a bond. Well, first of all, we have to select a bond agent to represent us. And in the past, we have done Bazinski and Company. This firm that approached me is PFM, and simply because that's the agent I have used in my previous bond restructuring processes. And then if we choose to do that, then we either go for a public sale or private negotiations for the bond. I think John and I and our agent are in agreement. If we choose to do that, it would probably make sense to do a private negotiations. Our current bonds are with Huntington Bank, right, John?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and this is a very, very small bond, so there would not be a lot of interest on the public market. If it was in the millions of dollars, they may be interested, but for a bond this size, the interest level would be very low. I think we're better off going to Huntington and asking them to refinance the bonds at a lower rate. So in a nutshell, we can stay the course we're on now, continue paying as we have, as outlined in this procedure. B, make the decision ourselves not to refinance, but pay more for future years. Refinance, most likely get a lower rate, either go public sale or private negotiations, and either keep the amount the same but reduce the number of years, or keep the years the same and lower the amount of annual payment. We're guessing, like I said, 25 to 30,000 per year. So it's not a significant amount, but it still is worth looking at. If we could say 25 to 30,000 per year. That's net savings after all the costs of refinance the bonds. All that will be rolled into the process. So that's a quick overview. John, do you want to add anything? Did I miss anything?
I've reached out to Huntington and Benzinski and Co., and they're both interested in submitting a proposal based on the decision of the board. But yeah, I think that with a potential savings of over $140,000, that could be, put into MERS over the next few years is real money. So I think it's something that we should look at.
If this committee thinks it's worthwhile, John and I can reach out to Bazinski and Company and PFM and have them put together proposals for us to consider to be our bond agent. There's no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Melinda.
So we still owe around just under 3 million.
I'm just looking at this. Yeah, if you look at our payment schedule, 453,000 for the rest of the years. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Just under 3 million. Hey, what is that money making us, John?
I'm sorry?
What is that money making us? Do we have investments in those amounts?
The investment market is flat, so there isn't any value in putting it into investments at this time.
Yeah, right now we're paying 4% interest, so obviously the interest rates are lower than that. So there'd be a savings there.
Well, we'll pay 4% this year and then it'll drop to 3%, correct?
Yep.
You think it'd be 3%?
No, it'll be lower. 3% is what our interest rates drops to in the future years.
So
This is the last year of the 4%.
So you think 1.5%?
2%? Probably. Yeah, just estimating. That's what the bond advisors are estimating. That's what John and I based that savings on.
So your current market with money markets and new issuance bonds, they're coming in for 5 years under 1%. So there's nothing for me to go out and buy, that makes any sense.
If you're interested, John and I could get 2 firm proposals from the bond agents, and there'd be no cost for us. And then we could present it to the full board at the February 9th meeting. But we thought we should start with this committee first. But I think we do have a unique opportunity to save some money here.
Well, so what is outstanding? What is the outstanding interest? Is it around just over 300,000 we'll be paying? We can just write this out till 27.
John, do you have that in front of you here?
Give me
I don't have a calculator in front of me, but let me read them off. I don't know, Melinda, do you have that information I sent you from Bazinski and Company in front of you, or no?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you can see we made 2 payments here. Interest June 1 and December 1.
Yep.
So
I
look
have
at that
my-
for page 1. For example, our June interest is 44,400, and our December interest is 38,000.
Total interest, including this year, would be $319,000.
$325. That's what I.
319,000.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So yeah, that's what I came up with too, John. So what is the cost of what's cost of refinancing?
Well, that's what we would get the proposals from Bazinski's and Company and PFM. That would be the next step. They would put together a packet for us.
And because
That we
we're
can
not
look
going
at.
for a public offering, it's going to be considerably less.
So I guess
Our
but
cost
that-
of issuance.
so
Go
we
ahead,
have
Melinda.
well, if we take the 319,000 and we have the opportunity to save 1.5% on it, it's a 1.5% a year still. So that's why you're coming right around 25 to 30,000. That sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah,
A year.
yeah. That's just ballpark. That's just ballpark numbers that I came up with.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're pretty close. Okay.
Ty has his hand up, Melinda.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I would be very interested, especially since there's no cost at having a proposal.
Yeah,
Rick, your thought?
I feel the same. I mean, it's not going to cost us anything. Let's see what the proposals bring in.
Well, the 3 of you are interested. I'll put this on the February 9th agenda. John and I will try to reach out to both these bond agents, have them come up with firm proposals. If they're interested, they can participate in our meeting, and then you can, as a board, make a decision.
Yeah.
So we will ask them, will they bring to us all the different options then, like, even like say, okay, let's really accelerate this and do it in a 3-year?
Well, that'd be up to us to decide, yeah. They
But will
would sell their job is to sell the bonds. How we wish to pay them back is up to us. These will be callable bonds probably, so we could pay them off at any time.
Okay, yeah, that would be a good thing, but it's basically 6 years. I don't propose we're going to stretch it out beyond that. I would prefer, yeah.
Yeah, yes, John and I both made the assumption you want to finance it only for the years remaining. You don't want to stretch it out anymore.
Yes.
Is that a correct assumption? Yeah, everyone's on their head.
Okay, yeah, or less. Like I said, if we can do it for less years, that's even better yet.
Well, yeah, that's a decision that is kind of separate. Once we sell the bonds, you can accelerate the payments therein. And just as we could now, because we have that option right now, if we choose. But the interest rates aren't fixed at 3%.
So, no, I don't know if Melinda can see me or not, but I'm just wondering, is Melinda's question more like, let's say if we have the 6 years and we decide with the interest savings that instead of having a 6-year schedule, you take it down to a 4. So our payments may go a little higher, but it's only 4 years liability versus 6.
Yeah, that's the decision the board would have to.
Is that what you're saying, Melinda?
Yes, Jen, that's what I'm saying. And my question would be would the interest be higher and we wouldn't gain as much, or could we get even lower interest?
Well, the bond agents will look at those and give us the options.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be, once we select a bond agent, then their job is to give us all those options.
Okay.
So really, this is the first step in the process to see if you as a committee recommend that we at least look at refinancing these bonds. The key is just explore refinancing the bonds. We're not saying we're going to do it. And basically, if you do, then John and I will put together a proposal from 2 of the bond agents. These 2 bond companies between Bazinski and Company And, well, they changed the name, but now it's PFM, have done virtually the vast majority of bonds in the state of Michigan for governments and school districts for 30, 40 years, I'm guessing. Right, John? Yeah.
Do you need a motion?
No, we can get a proposal. I just want to get your, basically, well, if you like to make a motion, that'd be great, but it's not, we're not spending any money, but it'd be great if you would support us, so.
Madam Chair, do you want a motion?
Yeah, I would prefer a motion.
I would move that we ask the treasurer and the administrator to go out and get us a proposal from the two firms.
Second.
Rick seconded, Melinda.
Okay, great. Is there any other questions? I think you pretty much know by what we discussed what you're going to be asking for. So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed. I think that was 3 yes.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Yeah. So now, oh, whoops, now we have temporary pay scale.
Yeah, and I apologize, I brought the wrong stack of papers with me, but I think I can summarize and Jen can help me here. Also, I grabbed the wrong pile of papers. I had copies for everyone. Let me see if that's, nope. Let me just be back in 2 minutes. I just go to my office. I apologize for that. Be right back. Melinda. They're on my desk.
I was searching for the commemorative Benzinski bonding agency little paperweight we got at the time.
Oh.
Taking us back to the old law library where that decision was made. So I can't find it.
John, do you have a paperweight?
I do not.
Jeez. It's a historical item. All right, well, thank you. I'm back here, Melinda. So in 2013, the board approved, and I got agreement with the union that we could hire some temporary office assistants. These are people that are on call when we need help in an office, if someone's on a long-term disability or a special project or some unique situation. Over the years, we've had several of them off and on. The last, probably what, Jen and Laura, the last 2-3 years, we've been virtually without anybody.
One person.
We've been trying to find people to come in, especially this year with COVID and with Laurel doing the meetings. And for example, doing the Parks and Recs Committee minutes and with the election for the training that I'll have to go in the clerk's office and other people being on medical leave. We've been really short-staffed. We've been advertising. We went on Enterprise, we posted it. We're just not getting any applicants. We currently pay $14.58 per hour with no benefits. This person does not get benefits, any vacation time, any personal time, strictly on call when we need them. And we've had some great success with some people, but they all move on or get full-time jobs or whatever. And we have been really struggling to try to get assistance. One of the things we found out that our starting pay, our only pay scale is $14.58, and it's just not attractive. People are interested. A lot of them may be fairly young and retirees that just want to work part-time, but they look at the pay scale and says, well, we're not interested for that amount. So what Jen and I and Michelle have talked about is changing that pay scale. And what we did, and I'll pass this out, and Melinda, we will email this to you, but it's from our union contract and our pay scale that's in your budget book. So the top one sheet here has the non-union salaries, and you can see that the temporary office assistant is $14.58, and that's where it is. Doesn't matter if you're here a year or 2 or 3 or 4, it's $14.58. What Jen and I and Michelle talked about is changing that. If you look at the second page, which is the unit pay scale, grade 2, we have no one at grade 1 here at the county. I guess that was here many years ago for one position, but if you look at the pay scale on the union one, which is the Teamsters, on grade 2, there's 5 different scales. What we'd like to do is propose that we change the temporary office position, not make it a union position, keep it as it is with no benefits, but start off at $17.53, which would be comparable to someone being in the second year on the Teamsters pay scale. Jen, you want to add anything to that? I know your office is the one that struggled the most trying to get some help.
Yes.
Question, why not start them at where we'd start off first year permanent ones?
Well, that'd be $14.85, and right now we're paying $14.58.
No, I'm talking about the 1 year. So we start them where the
Well, that-
16-20.
That was, oh, is that
Well,
what
we
it is?
could,
That's what the 1 year is, 1620. That was gonna be my
Yeah.
question.
yeah, 2 years is $17.53. Well, we just came up with that. It was kind of halfway through, and we just have not been successful at $14.58. People are interested, and then they ask what the pay is, and then they say, "Oh, thanks, we're not interested."
That would not create problems for regular staff that might be at the first year rate of 16-20?
There are no benefits.
Yeah, there are no benefits with this job, so.
But when they're turning you down at their pay, are you guys?
I'm sorry, Rick.
When they're turning down the position for that starting pay, I mean, has anybody ever asked what they're looking at?
Well, they just look and say it's just not worth it for that pay
Yeah.
to come in. Or sometimes like they just don't want to do the job or, you know. We've had now a great deal of interest because you just don't know how many hours you're going to get. But we're hoping that someone maybe who's a younger college student has flexibility, or someone that's early in their retirement stage would be willing to come in and be on call. And a couple of people that are working full-time now actually got their start being temporary aides here. So it kind of gives them a foot in the door also.
So temporary is how many hours or?
There is no schedule. It's like on a Wednesday, they may need help in the clerk's office. So we'll call them and say, hey, can you come in and work next Thursday for 2 days? You know, there is no schedule. Laurel?
And we could have them staff at Parks and Rec.
Yeah. Laurel's getting consumed by all the Parks and Rec's minutes taking. That takes time away from her. And also all these Zoom meetings, Laurel is an administrator, so that's taking time away from her. We normally don't have one in our office, but we could get somebody to help. Maybe take some of those Parks and Rec's committee meetings. If we get someone with the right skills, train them to be a Zoom administrator.
So, looking at a bigger picture, does the clerk's office need another person or just occasional help?
Well, Jen, I'll let you answer. I don't want to speak on behalf of Michelle.
I believe that if you were to sit down with the county clerk, that she is looking and was hoping to come in the 2022 budget to request help for another staff member, but is also entertaining the option of asking sooner so that person is trained before the 2022 election year. So it is definitely a topic that she would like to discuss. I think it's timing. Most, as we both know, most times when people want to add to their staff, it's done at budget time, and then it can be immediate or for the next budget year. But if we had to state, I think she would be the same. We would like to look at staffing. It's just what option do we need for the office? Right now, we're using a temp to do things that isn't something that they would, that you take the time to train them, like let's say in election work. It's more of a fill-in, process paper, data entry type thing. So looking to fill a position would be to fully train and keep an employee.
Like the temp today is actually shredding paper.
Yes, the temp today is shredding. There's a process. We have a retention schedule. So when we were backlogged, we have jury questionnaires. So the majority of the shredding is after accounts payable is scanned. We have years of accounts payable. We have jury. We have receipts that everything on the retention schedule. Every year that comes to pass, you have a deadline and a destroy date, and so that's what's happening now in the winter months. And then the summer, again, it'll be, we already have 2 elections for May.
Yeah, the clerk's office probably is the biggest users, but for example, right now in the building safety, they've been short a support staff person for 4 weeks. And so, it's starting to hit them. Other offices have been short for various reasons, and we just have no one as a backup. And Ty and Melinda, as you both know, you're on Parks and Rec. Well, I think, Rick, you are too, but you're brand new on Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
They have a lot of meetings. That means Laurel is there taking minutes at all those meetings. That's taking time away from her normal duties, responsibilities. We had people in the past who were temps that did that, but they moved on, and we just don't have anyone. We have one temp now, and she's a college student with some flexibility, but that's it.
Well, that's what happens. So when we put them on minutes, they don't stay. We have to get them locked.
It must be the membership of the Parks and Recs for some reason. It scares them away.
Yeah, no, it's not that. Not that. Yeah, I guess I can kind of see your logic that you definitely want to try to attract some talent. But my question actually was the same as Ty's. Like I said, could we look at the first year, or is there a possibility that you could do something along the line of leave it even? I don't know that we could leave it flexible. So in other words, if you get somebody with Word or something that's a more valuable, because
yeah, that's a good point. That's why we thought we'd come up with a different peer. If you look at this, a different scale based on service. So we could technically, let's say we get someone that's just part-time college students with no skills. We start them at one rate. But if we had step 1, or year 2, year 3, we could put them on the pay scale somewhere else. We also thought we have some retirees that just retired in the last couple of years that we actually have called them, asking them if they want to work. But they said, well, at 14 some hours, they're not that interested. They would be if it paid a little more. So that kind of started the discussion. So like I said, Jen and I and Michelle came up with the year 2. If you feel more comfortable starting someone at a year 1 scale, 1620, obviously that's still a plus from the 1458.
Mm-hmm.
But if we did that, we'd like to do that, like you said, but let's just say, I'll just make this up. Someone like Marilyn Calhoun, who retired last year, she worked here for 20 years. Obviously, maybe with her, we would start her at a different rate than someone brand new coming in. But it'd be nice to have that flexibility. But once again, there'd be no benefits, there's no vacation time, there's no personal time. Strictly, you get paid for the hours that you work.
Well, I was thinking another way would be, that if in 6 months this person is interested in staying and they've shown great progress, then we could have to move them up. Okay.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
I'm okay either way.
Yeah, we could do that. So would the 3 of you feel comfortable stating that we would start at the 1620, but also then include the rest of the pay scale for future years?
I would.
So would I.
Yeah, I would try the 1620 and see what kind of, it may not work.
Yeah, but let's try it and see where we're at.
How many do we, I'm not familiar. Do we have a lot of retirees from here?
We have quite a few people. Melinda, Rick asked if we have retirees. We had one that did it for a couple of years, Roshab. She did.
She still does it for our office.
Yeah, very rarely, but she did.
Yeah.
But I think there are a couple of other ones, and I'm not saying Merlin, I'll just use her as an example. I don't want to commit to her, but She lives close by in Suns Bay. She said she would like to work a little bit, not a lot, and have flexibility.
I know what they do at Grand Traverse, like at the courts there and some of the other departments. I mean, people would retire. I'd rather see new people, see new blood come in and get a job and work there 25 years, but they couldn't find anybody. So what they did is they took, you were able to retire, draw your retirement. And like a couple of the girls in the courts down there, they only work a 4-day week but they don't pay into the retirement anymore.
For example, if we were to hire retirees, they can still draw their pension and still do that.
Yeah.
Laurel, did you have any question?
Added benefit of making it attractive to retirees is that they're familiar with the phone system.
Yeah.
And the personnel, so they could fill in, because when you think about the amount of staff that take vacations and don't have largely staffed offices, it's nice to have that ability to just have someone come in. And retirees a lot of times don't want to work a lot. They just want a small schedule.
Yeah. See down there in Grand Traverse, I mean, they're working, I think they work a 4-day work week.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they're there and, you still keep your expertise. You're not training somebody, but I don't know if we have, retirees up here that are willing to do that,
Yeah, we did, like I said, between Jen, Laurel, and I, and Michelle, we have reached out to some of our retirees, and none of them have wanted to take this on.
So, well, I guess that.
Yeah, but it's worth a try. So if the three of you are comfortable, we can present it at the board meeting that we'd like to raise it from 1458 to 1620, and then come up with a step scale, and we'll put that in writing in EDS.
Question, the part-time people that are permanent, that are starting at 14.85, they're still getting some benefits?
Yes, they are getting personal, and Jen, you want to explain what they're getting?
Yeah, so depending on the department and what type of hours that they work, we have brackets of 20 and under, and then we have a 21, and then you have 28 to 35 to 40. So your 20 hours and under that are permanent part-time receive a life insurance policy as well as personal days. And then your 21-hour permanent part-time receives health insurance and vacation. And then your permanent part-timers, also receive all holiday pay if that's their scheduled day to work in that department. So the disadvantage of the temp is the temp doesn't have those holidays. And so they wouldn't work on that Monday, but they work Tuesday to Friday or whatever in that regard.
I'm comfortable.
Now, like in your position, typing all the minutes and all that, is that something that somebody has to be on site for?
I've tried, the last temp I tried to hire, she was hired, and I had her work on a set of small committee minutes for the day. I said, take your time. If you have any questions, let me know. And they were able to access the video and kind of work with that. And she lasted 1 day.
Oh, geez.
So the three of you feel comfortable us proceeding this way at the board meeting?
Yeah.
Yes,
I do.
okay. We have a consensus. Okay.
Good. Well, thank you. It's a start, and we'll see. And once again, we have no labor issues with this. The union agreed with this, and no one has ever challenged it. And we just are down to not having any temps. Well, thank you. Audit schedule. Jen, this is just an update. John and Jen, you want to just talk about the normal audit process and when we start?
Sure, so you want to talk?
John, you want to start first?
I was going to defer to Jen and say,
Excellent.
but I know that they're going to be doing a virtual again this year because of COVID. We talked about March, starting it. And then Jen would know more specifics when they're going to start requesting our trial balances and so on.
Jen, you want to give an update?
Absolutely. So this year with the audit, it starts March 15th. That is a payroll week. So what we do is we pay bills up until February 26th. I believe that's going to be our last Friday. After that last Friday, we can go back prior and put bills back to our December budget, but pay the cash out in the February year. Once that is done and set, I will be sending the trial balance approximately 7 days later to the auditors, and they will virtually pester us until audit is finished, which should be, it generally lasts about 10 days of full hard work and then sporadic days after. So March 15th and on, we will be working both the treasurer's office and our office virtually with the auditors, either in Traverse or Muskegon, with a prompt date of June to get it approved.
So Jen, just a question. The term that you use, virtually pester, is that a accounting term or one that you made
I
up?
think after last year's audit, I think a virtual pester would be, what I would say, they used to pester us, in person. Now it's email after email. I mean, John can state as well, email after email after email. You kind of lose track after a little while.
Okay, I've just not heard that term before, virtual pester.
I think it should be a new COVID term.
Okay, all right.
Good enough. Okay. Well, that sounds like it's
And
very
Rick, and then Rick, usually the chief spokesman comes and gives us the board an update in June.
Yep.
For the previous. So June of this year, I'm guessing it'll be Steve Peacock. He'll come once again and review the 2020 audit with the board members.
just time for the new budget process.
Yeah, and we have been very, very good with our audits the last number of years, virtually no incidents. Couple minor issues that we resolved. A couple of them, the one that comes up every year, we don't have a CPA on firm, which most counties do not, so that's always an audit. But outside of that, we've done very well. I believe we got an A- last year, John and Jen, right?
Yep.
And the reason we didn't get an A is because we don't have a CPA on staff.
Great. Good news. Okay. We'll look forward to that. Okay. Anything else we feel we should discuss as a committee having to do with finance?
I think, Melinda, this is only the second audit finance committee meeting we've had in, what, 6 years probably?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, sure.
But we tend to keep close eye on finances every month.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
I see fuel oil prices or gasoline prices are already starting to climb.
Yeah.
Pretty big leaps and bounds. So we're going to want to keep a close eye on that so that we can get some really good projections when we start our 2022 budget. We're going to kind of want to watch some trends, I think. So that's pretty much my only comment. Ty, Rick, any comments?
No comment, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, we'll ask for public comment again and wait a moment. See if anybody wants to call in.
Yeah, let me repeat that number. It's 231-256-8109. 231-256-8109. Okay, no one's calling in, Melinda.
Yep. I just hear my phone beeping, so I've got to go off the hook so it doesn't.
Okay.
Okay, well then I will adjourn this meeting.